Now we are approaching the end of our program, and we are going to be presenting globalFEST Awards. It's a ceremony that I think is 3 or 4 years into globalFEST and the live festival, and it's a moment where our community speaks and shares nominations about who they want to award and highlight. And so Isabel and Shanta, who are the co-founders, of course, and co-curators of globalFEST, are going to introduce all the awardees. I just want to say personally that all of the people that are being highlighted this afternoon are such incredible inspirations and wonderful people to work with. And I thankfully have had the opportunity to interact with all of them throughout the years. And so, much love and respect to everybody. And, I hope that everybody has a moment to enjoy and celebrate our colleagues in this moment. So Isabel and Shanta, take it away.
Thank you. Thanks, Viviana. Thanks to all of you for being here. I'm going to just give us a moment. We're just going to transition with a little bit of a breath. So why don't we all just inhale, exhale. It's so wonderful to have all of you here. It has been so incredible. I know a lot of you have been on your screens all day with us. Some of you joining Wavelengths for the first time because we have it in this digital format. Some of you that have been part of this community for years and years. And we are so grateful. As Viviana said, we started this a few years ago, the globalFEST Awards, because we know that within our field of the performing arts, global music can be on the margins of that field. And we feel like there are so many incredible people working so hard to bring this music, these cultures into the center of our field. And it is often under-recognized. So we want to take this moment, the next 30 minutes or so, to really celebrate these incredible individuals and organizations, and by extension, celebrate the work that all of you are doing. Because we know that this work is not easy. It is complicated. It takes all of us working together, as I think has been articulated so many beautiful ways across the day. We really need to be hand in hand on this work, and we need to be able to celebrate one another along the way. So I have a glass. I went and got myself some tequila in the middle of the damn day. So raise a glass if you've got one. And I want to celebrate all of you. So cheers. And want to thank all of our artists and our funders and everyone that makes this all possible. I also have a prop, another prop, multiple props. Got the globe back there, got this. I also have this beautiful mask for any of our big old donors. You should be getting these homemade masks coming in the mail soon. They're quite stunning. So look out for that. And as always, if you want to contribute to the work of globalFEST year round, head to our website and you can find ways to support us and our work. And now I'm going to actually take a drink. I think it's bad luck if I don't. And I'm going to pass it on to my co-director, Isabel.
Thanks, Shanta. I would really like to thank everyone for participating in the award nomination process. It's an open process. Anybody can make a nomination. We post it, I don't know, sometime probably in the fall. And it's really, it's colleagues make their recommendations, and it's a very simple form, and we receive so many inspiring nominations. It's really an unbearably difficult task to have to go through these nominations, and it's even worse to be a juror because globalFEST doesn't have a decision in this process except for in the Pioneer Award, which is the only award that we three, Shanta, Bill, and myself, decide that award. But so I would really like to thank this year's jury. We had an incredible jury, and I think it's going to come up on the screen so you can see we had Azam Ali and Gabrielle Davenport and Jamila Daria, Keneta Hamagaji and Derek Mazzone. And, we get on the phone and we just dig through these nominations, and it's such a fascinating process because it never goes the way that I think it might go. But I'd really like to thank you, jurors, for being a part of this and for thinking so insightfully and thoughtfully in your process. To present our first award, I would like to turn things over to Jordana Lee. She's going to be presenting the Artist Award to globalFEST alum Meklit.
Hi, my name is Jordana Lee, and I am the Senior Director of Artistic Programming at Lincoln Center. And I am so honored to be able to present the 2021 globalFEST Artist Award to Meklit, as she is one of the most special people I know. Ethio-American vocalist, songwriter, composer, curator, artistic and community leader, the wonderful Meklit Hedero. I first met her 10 years ago at Arts Presenters, where she was finding a way to bring artists into the center of the conference and remind us why we attend in the first place. First is the transactional business that we often tend to do and think about when we think of Arts Presenters. I immediately became a fan of hers, and in so much that I invited her just months after meeting her to create and curate a mini-series for the very newly opened David Rubenstein Atrium at Lincoln Center. She was actually our first guest curator. The series was called Resonate, Africa, America in Sound and Story. And it was created while she was in residence at NYU. At Lincoln Center, we continue to be giant fans of Meklit's and have had the honor to present her 3 times and commission 2 of her projects. And we had actually planned to present her a 4th time just in March of 2020. And we will reschedule that project and make sure that she comes back and shares her new project called Antidote, which is what we all need right now, sometime in the future. We have had, I have continued to look to Meklit for inspiration and leadership. Meklit is, as I said, an Ethio-American artist, and she is truly captures a generation's voice that is celebrating the intersections of multiple identities at the same time. She is the chief of program at Yerba Buena Center for the Performing Arts in San Francisco, and finding ways not only to present artists, but to truly support their work and their lives. She's also a National Geographic explorer, a former artist in residence at Harvard and NYU, and a TED Senior Fellow. And as we all know, an in-demand performer and speaker. Meklit is the co-founder and host and co-producer of Movement, a new podcast and live show about music and migration. And it debuted at the nationally syndicated broadcast of PXR's The World in November 2020. She's also the co-founder in the Now Project, which is something we were able to commission and something very near and dear to my heart, and is a featured voice in the UN's Women's Theme Song. Meklit is amazing. Meklit is one of a kind, and not only is it because of her artistry and magic, but it's her spirit. Whenever I'm in need of artistic or personal inspiration, I call on her. Perhaps not always by phone, sometimes through her music or her talks or her videos. And yes, sometimes I actually do pick up the phone and bother her. And I just think the world of Meklit. And I am so thrilled and so honored to present the 2021 globalFEST Award, Artist Award to Meklit. Meklit, please take it from here.
Oh my goodness, Jordana Lee, I'm so moved. Thank you so much for that incredibly generous introduction. I am so thrilled and humbled and honored to receive this award today. globalFEST was the last show that I played before the pandemic shut it all down. And so to receive this award a year later feels like just a trampoline, an engine of momentum. I know this has been an incredibly difficult year for so many musicians and curators and presenters and stagehands and sound engineers and lighting designers and directors. And I just wanted to spend my first moment just in a space of solidarity with all of us. You know, it's been an incredibly difficult year, but despite the fact that our field is suffering, you know, we saw just a few days ago at the inauguration, it's the art, the music, the poets, the songs that stay with us and ground us and attune our full selves to the historical moment. So I just want to say that I'm with you in solidarity, all of y'all, all of us together. And I know that I can't wait to be out there performing live for the people again. You know, globalFEST is really special to me. Thank you for this great honor. globalFEST is more than a festival. It's like a family reunion. It's a homecoming. The people that I meet there, that I see there every year, the folks are in it for the deepest purposes that music has. Bringing us together when we must stay apart, tending to our hearts and our well-being in moments of incredible pressure, but also of possibility. And y'all, we are in a moment of possibility now. This is a moment of possibility. The music, the musicians, the artists, the sparks, the catalysts, the caretakers of the soul that let us be us and let us do the work that we must do now collectively together. You know, that's why we're here, and globalFEST holds that. globalFEST is that. So that's what makes this award extra special for me. Yeah, these past months have been intense. My baby just turned 1.5 years. He was at globalFEST last year. And what a marker of time that is. You know, as an artist and also cultural activist, my time is spent, you know, equally at YBCA advocating for artists, making space for artists, building the capacity of artists who work in service of communities. And then, you know, this past year has also been deeply introspective, whether that's about writing music, composing, but also really thinking about and growing projects like Movement, which Jordana mentioned, the podcast and live show telling stories of global migration through music. I'm really thrilled that I'll be able to, you know, continue to develop that. We're being commissioned by the University of Washington and Montgomery College, and there's so much to look forward to around just shining stories of immigrant and refugee musicians, expanding what we think of as world music to really be the music of the neighborhood, you know, which is work that happens at globalFEST every year and also every day. I'm just super grateful to be here making music and activating cultural projects. I don't take it for granted, not for 1 second. I don't take it for granted for one single second. Thank you to the folks who nominated me. Thank you to the folks who selected me for this award. I'm deeply humbled and appreciative. And I just send my love to all the folks at globalFEST and the attendees who are equal in measure to making globalFEST happen. You know, globalFEST is a community, and I'm so glad to be a part of it. Be well, y'all. Stay safe, stay healthy, be well. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Meklit. Thank you, Jordana. That was amazing and so well deserved. Let's see. Originally, so Meklit and Jordana obviously pre-taped their award ceremony. The rest of the awards are going to be live. Originally, we were going to have Mehmet and Serdar at DROM, but weather didn't really permit. So this will be coming in from 3 different locations. I'm really thrilled to introduce the Impact Award presenter, Erica Elliott, to present the Impact Award to Serdar, Ilhan, and Mehmet Dede.
Good evening, everyone. Hello from the Bronx. I'm so honored to be here, and frankly, that is a very difficult act to follow. So I won't even try, but I will say I'm deeply honored. And when actually was asked by Mehmet and Serdar to present them, really touched, because their work has so deeply affected my work. And we've had the ability to do some really great things together. I both consider them, of course, great colleagues and people that I'm inspired by, but also friends. You know, in New York, we spend a lot of time together, traveled together, we've done great things. What I'd like to share is that we collaborated, and what I think was a really catalytic moment for them in the larger North American presenting field is we worked together on Istanbul Live, which the first 3 editions of that festival took place in Central Park at Summer Stage, but were really driven by their passion to bring the love of that country and the varied artists and communities within that country to New York and to North America in a really celebratory way. And we had a phenomenal success with it. I mean, capacity crowds and really transformative artists. And I couldn't have been prouder of the partnership. And I think it really made a huge impact, not only in New York, but then acted as a catalyst which speaks to really their impact on North America overall. Really being able to champion artists, get them into the North America and US and facilitate touring. So making, you know, a real impact both locally here in New York, but also to the field and to the artists themselves. What I know about them individually is they both dream big and deliver, which field is really an accomplishment. I have huge respect for them. Mehmet, of course, is also an educator, so kudos to him for that work as well. I've been lucky enough to be in his class, and it's incredible what he does to inspire the next generation of leaders. Of course, I couldn't not mention their work in the physical structure of DROM, which of course in these recent times is a challenge, but as a real home and a brick and mortar space for the most varied of communities, consistently to have a place to play in New York. And again, champion a really wide scope of musicians and artists and artistry that might not find a home otherwise in New York. And then of course to work around Roma culture and Gypsy culture with the festivals that they've created and the tours that they've facilitated. I mean, I could go on, but I want to leave them time to really accept and also speak to their peers and friends. You know, I'm in an amazing admiration for you both. I love you dearly, and I think that you more than deserve this award. I've been so lucky to work with you, and I deeply congratulate you for really doing amazing things.
I will let Serdar start because he's the older brother.
Okay. It was amazing that we are getting this award from all our favorite people and fellow industry members. And I'm extremely grateful to have all of you with us on this ship that, you know, won't stop sailing. Thank you, Isabel, Bill, Shanta, Jan, Catherine, Erica, and thanks to the globalFEST juror who awarded us. Thank you again, believing our labor within the industry. And I would like to congratulate Meklit, Alison, and Ismael too. I opened DROM in 2007 with the hope to create a heaven for world music and live entertainment. And since then, we have worked with so many good friends who are bookers, musicians, promoters, dancers from all over the world. We took the road most traveled all together and this crazy journey. Thank you all. I love the cultural aspect in the music. I am so lucky to be part of the world music community and in New York City. I also would like to thank to my partner Akmal, my manager Hülya, my son Deniz, and especially Mehmet for the effort and support for all these years. Without them, it wouldn't work, of course. In this pandemic, we continue to bring live music New York City through Sidewalk, you know, the restrict indoor stage. DROM never stopped until the shutdown. Who knows, may perseverance probably comes from my immigrant background. We are having a good start in 2021, I believe. We are receiving this Impact Award from you. Our incredible Niva and Naiva team pushed to get SOS grant from the Senate, thanks to the Senator Schumer. And top of that, we have no more of Trump in our lives. Cheers. DROM suffered many times with different outcomes, but was successful enough to survive, and I believe we will continue to survive it because all we love music and we believe in what we are doing as you guys. I am sure there will be many good old days ahead of us. And thanks again. It's a great honor for me to receive this. Let me show it to you. It's here. Thank you. And before I leave, I like to show our new booking member who's going to work with us. You can see it right here. Thanks again. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for that introduction, Serdar. It's ironic, I think, that we are receiving the Impact Award because we were supposed to be together with Serdar, but here we are impacted by the weather and have to zoom in from our homes. And I don't even have my award. Serdar has it for me, so I do appreciate that. I wanted to just start by saying that, I'm really, really proud and honored to be in such great company. I mean, the globalFEST organization has been a wonderful institute for their leadership, the friendship, this award, and so many other things that they've done over the years that I have been personally involved in. So I wanted to thank Isabel and Shanta and Bill, and actually the entire organization, because I know there's so many people behind there for their leadership and their friendship. I'm really happy to be counting them as colleagues in the industry. I also want to thank the esteemed jury and those who nominated us, including Rachel and a lot of other people who are my colleagues and people I have worked with for so long that without their support, I wouldn't have been able to do what I'm doing today. Thank you to Erica as well for that wonderful introduction. Erica is one of the first people that gave us that platform with the Central Park Summer Stage show, and we sort of like blossomed after that. So her place in our hearts and in our careers is really unmatched. And I'm so happy that she's able to be with us today. As Serdar said, we are immigrants to this country. I've lived here for over 20 years now, and I really call New York home. And I see our work as facilitating cultural exchange and starting a conversation. And we do this by touring through presenting music, bringing sounds from different parts of the world to American stages, to New York venues, and to different cities. So I've had the honor to work with many performing arts centers and festival producers who are on this call today. So I really do think that this award is really a collective award, because without them, I wouldn't have been able to do what I did. This award really gives us hope and really connects us even closer. And for me, is really a testament to the diversity that really makes the United States a wonderful country, an amazing place to be working and living in. Serdar, I want to thank you personally, my brother from another mother. He's a fearless visionary. His love of music is unmatched, and his risk-taking business acumen to me is exemplary. For me, he's really truly the soul of DROM. I want to thank Ahmed for his longstanding support and his continued guidance, without whom DROM wouldn't have succeeded. Of course, Julia, our general manager, and the entire DROM staff, from the ticket takers to the sound engineers. Without their hard work, the long hours, the sleepless nights, it would have been very difficult to continue this run. They really make DROM a safe and enjoyable environment. Of course, we have to mention the artists who performed on the DROM stage and the patrons who came and supported us, without which none of this would have been really possible. So we extend our deep gratitude to the performers and our community. And last but not least, of course, I want to thank my beautiful wife. Without whom, I wouldn't have been able to do what I do today, because She's been supporting me from day one. And not only that, I think there needs to be a larger discussion about spouses of people who work in the industry. This came up earlier today when Isabel talked about working mothers, but I think we can really expand this to also males, because there are quite a few females who work in the industry whose spouses have to be home, sometimes have to watch over the kids and have to spend a lot of time alone while we are at work, touring and being on the road. And there needs to be something said for those people who are holding down the fort. So I extend my gratitude to her as well. And certainly, congratulations to all my fellow awardees, and of course, winners from previous years as well, because we are truly standing on the shoulder of giants. So thanks again, and we hope to see you at DROM once this pandemic is over.
Thank you both so much. Next is our Trouble Worldwide Award, named in honor of our dear colleague, Alex Nova. It's presented to an industry professional who exemplifies Alex's spirit, which was artist-centered, innovative, risk-taking, and generous. Here's some pictures of all of us hanging out all around the world together. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Laura Greer, a senior producer at the Apollo Theater.
Thank you. Thank you, Shanta. Thank you for just inviting me to participate, and I'm so thrilled to be here to present Alison to you all. I met Alison in the 90s when she was curating and producing performances for the Festival of Women Improvisers. Our professional connection over the years has turned into a treasured friendship. What I've always appreciated about Alison is her impeccable taste in music, all kinds, and that she truly believes in the power of music to connect cultures and transform our souls and connect us as human beings. Yes, this sounds cliche, but probably many of you, like many of you, she has been inspired by these values, and they have fueled her career, her business, and personal life. This woman walks the talk. Over the years, as she's developed her boutique booking agency and artist roster, Alison introduced me to such artists as Deirdre Murray, Jean Lee, Jack DeJeanette, Liz Wright, Fred Hirsch, Sam Maguana, Aurelio, Macumba, even Meklit, Nova Lima, Ensemble Tartit, so many artists that I did not know. And she would introduce me both through her roster, but also through our various escapades around New York and other places. Early on, she focused on jazz musicians, and then her interest expanded to working with international artists and world music. Because of her deep commitment to diversity in our society, and also exposing audiences to other cultures, she goes all in. Alison gets to know the artists, the history and cultural context of the music, often traveling to the artist communities and meeting their families. Creating her own business has not been easy. She typically is working solo, sometimes with artists that don't have management. So not only will she book a tour, but she will be the tour manager, the visa service, the translator, the company manager, etc. I'm sure you all know this drill, but I have to say, Alison thrives on it. She really does. Her commitment and generosity of spirit for the work and the artist she represents is purely about bringing great music to an audience, and this outweighs the challenges that may come up. Since I met Alison, she's always been someone who has had an amazing energy, positive vibes, and a great laugh. She approaches life with passion, curiosity, and the belief that music and real honest dialogues change us. Before I end, I just want to share a few other fun facts about Alison that you may not know. One, she's a graduate of Howard University. Yes, the same alma mater of our new Vice President, Kamala Harris. She was an instructor of the natural sciences at the American Museum of Natural History. She also worked in Cape Cod on whale watching missions and sailed from the Dominican Republic to Newport, Rhode Island. She's a great cook and makes a delicious Moroccan tangine and a truly exceptional pecan pie. She loves to dance and take the dance floor with a mean samba, which is a partnering dance from Angola. Yes, this woman she has joie de vivre. What I love about our field is that you can truly find people who become part of your tribe. These are people who are more than colleagues. They're trusted friends, confidants, and in many cases, members of your inner circle and family. Alison is my sister in spirit. So I'm so happy to be the one to introduce Alison and experience this moment and present her with the Trouble Worldwide Award. Ooh, here it is, the handoff. Thank you, Alison. You're on.
Thank you so much, Laura. Oh my gosh, it is overwhelming sometimes to hear you being talked about, hear oneself being talked about by your colleagues and peers. And I just really value that. I do have to, I don't know, can you see this? This is the award, the Trouble Worldwide Award, and it's just beautiful. It's this glass globe with a deep blue interior, and then the continents are that sort of lighter gray on top. And it really, it feels great. It looks great. Shanta, Bill, Isabel, you did great with this. I understand to be a new design for the award. And it's really especially touching for me to receive this award because of Alex Nova. I loved Alex. She was one of those persons that she walks into the room and her smile would just light up the room, and her hearty laugh soon to follow. She just really brought so much joy into so many people's lives. And her dedication to her artists really was just nonpareil. She loved them so much and worked so hard to get them out there. So it's really meaningful to me to be recognized for this award that's in her honor, that's named in her honor. And it's also amazing to me. I had no idea that I'd been nominated for this. So I really thank you to all of those out there who nominated me. I had no idea, but thank you so much. This has just been such a delightful surprise. And I just feel really warm and hugged by all of you right now in this moment. And I really thank you for that feeling. It's, you know, in getting an award like this, it of course makes you think back over the years. It's been 24 years since I've done Alia Prod. I really should give a shout out to SRO Artists because I did spend 3 years there working with Jeff Laramie, learning the tricks of the trade, so to speak. But when I think back on what it was that also brought me into the world music arena and my pursuit and love of that, I think about Sam Mangwana, who was my first world music artist. And Sam was a super well-known vocalist in the Congo. He worked with TPOK and the great guitar god Franco. He worked with Tabule Rochereau. And a friend of mine was a DJ in New York, and he called me up one day and he said, Alison, Sam's in the country. He needs some gigs. Can you help him? And I said, sure, let me try. And sure enough, we started getting gigs. And in the process of working with Sam, I started to learn about the history of him and the music in the Congo. And ironically, at the same time that we were doing these tours, this author by the name of Adam Hochschild had come out with his book called King Leopold's Ghost. And if you haven't ever read that, I highly recommend it. But what was so great for me because I was working with Sam, and here was a book about the Congo. King Leopold was the king of Belgium who basically took the Congo as his private property. This is the beginning of European colonialism in Africa. And so to read that story and to realize embedded in that story is also the seeds of the abolitionist movement, which started in England, but certainly impacted US politics. So here I am, captivated by this soukous music. And where did it lead me? Right back to my country and the history of racism and slavery in this country. And I think that this really represents the artists. I don't know, the artists that I find. I always find something interesting in the work that they're doing, delving into their cultures, spending time with them, whether it was listening to the music of Ensemble Tartite in the Sahara Desert at the festival at Essakane some years ago now, or going to Victoria Falls and feeling the energy of that falls, which so informs the work of the band Makumba. I mean, all of these things really feed into what I feel, the ability to represent these artists and what gets exciting about bringing them to communities here. And I know that these things have impact. When you're working as an agent, you're so behind the scenes and you don't necessarily realize that impact. But when you get to go out on the road with the artists and see the audience reaction, I'll never forget a young lady in Houston, Texas at the Houston International Festival. Toto La Momposina had just finished her set. And this young woman came up to me. She insisted to the festival staff that they point me out to her because she wanted to thank me for bringing Toto there. For her as an immigrant and a fairly recent immigrant in the community, she really hadn't felt embraced by the community she found herself in. She felt a little bit dismissed by the community and sort of put down. And so all of a sudden to be at this festival and to see this icon of Colombian music take the stage and just absolutely light up the crowd was such a moment for her. And it really restored her confidence in standing tall and proud in her Colombian tradition and nationality. And I'm just really grateful that she found me and told me that, because that's very meaningful to me. I think this really is the work that we do as agents, bringing these artists to communities. And so many of you know, I mean, I've been to some of your communities too, Ismael in Detroit, and I'm not sure who all is on here right at the moment, but all over the country. Lisa Stafford in Louisiana, Ish in Detroit, and our friends up in Edmonton and Calgary and Montreal in Canada. It's really been a pleasure and an honor to be part of this community and to be able to forward this work, certainly in the sense that Alex also did her work. I just want to say one more thing about that nature of the work that we do and the reasons why we do it. Last night, I had the opportunity to hear a conversation between some musicians and some physicists. And the physicists were talking, or they were explaining that the very structure of our universe, this is a Nobel Prize winning physicist who talked about, he put forth the theory that our universe is at its most essential core was created by cosmic quantum sound waves. And I'm like, wow, wrapping my brain around that. Just think about that. It started with sound waves, created the stars and the galaxies and everything from there, but it all started with sound waves. And then the next moment they're talking about humans, and the first thing that we understand that we know as a human is our mother's heartbeat. And I think, wow, that's so beautiful. Sound out creating the universe, the sound that connects us to the heartbeat of our mothers. This is really what it's all about. And we're all just like getting this wonderful opportunity in this world to celebrate that through the many different kinds of music that have been created over the millennia of humanity on Earth. And it just served to remind me then how critical it is, this work that we're doing, that we're all doing. The presenters who provide the structure for the tours, the tour managers who make sure that the tours run smoothly, the publicists, the tech people. I mean, there's so many unseen people. They're the people that reached out and offered their homes to our artists when we had didn't have money to pay for lodging, they brought us into their homes. Or the doctor who provided $1,000 worth of medication that we didn't have the money for to a band member who really needed it. I mean, it just amazes me when I look at our community, and it's the fans, it's all of us together. And it really, I can't be more honored and more humbled by this recognition, but I also want to say, you all are fabulous. I feel like this is a shared award. Thank you for participating in the work that I've done with you. And I think once again, I know that Meklit referenced this in her message, but I think it's worth remembering once again. Amanda Gorman's poem at the inauguration was just so outstanding. And after such a tough year, what a moment of uplift that was for so many of us. At the end of that poem, she says, "For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it." And so all of this is why I am really so grateful to this community, to stand among you, to be with you here in this moment. Thank you, Bill, Shanta, and Isabel for creating this platform for all of us to gather. It's been a wonderful afternoon, and I look forward to more tomorrow. I really love you all. Thank you so much.
I don't.
Wow, Alison. You know, it's so amazing. I've never heard you talk that much. Like, you know, I mean, in such a positive way. I just feel like I just know you differently now, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy that all of us got to know you a little more today. And I think that, you know, that's true with a lot of agents. Is that, you know, I know it's a theme of mine today, but too bad. I'm promoting agents. I just feel like it's under-recognized. And
Isabel, I just want to say, I really appreciate that comment, because I was thinking before doing this, I've never spoken this much to a group of people. It's like, ah! But I'm glad it resonated.
I think I'm on, Shanta, right? Yeah. I just wanted to say a couple of things. First, I just got off of WhatsApping with Bill, and I think he's following in the chats now, but he does, you know, really wish that he was here with us. And if he is in the chats, he should say something, but if he isn't, he really wishes that he was here and congratulates everybody. And so just wanted everyone who's here to know that he's, of course, in Abu Dhabi. It's 8 hours time difference. It's like, I don't know, 3:30 in the morning, something like that. 4:30. I also wanted to say, because I didn't say it in the beginning, that this year in what every, you know, in all of aspects of what globalFEST is doing is, you know, not asking anybody to do anything for free as usual. But this year we did, this year's award also comes with a check. And we're really thrilled to be able to offer that in this incredibly difficult time period. And I just wanted to say that. So, you know, congratulations again. And it's pretty thrilling for us to recognize our next awardee for the Pioneer Award. It's a new award. This is the second time that we've given this award. It goes to a member of the world music community, including performing arts professionals, artists, groups, organizations, theaters, venues, or festivals living or working substantially in the US, who's considered a pioneer or elder, whose work has been deeply felt and has had a significant impact in the world. And I imagine that nobody would disagree that Ismael Ahmed deserves this award more. Nobody deserves this award more than Ismael Ahmed. And it's a real thrill and honor to welcome Don Was to present this award to Ish.
Thank you very much. Am I on? You can hear me? Ish. I met Ismael Ahmed about 16 years ago when I performed with Sheb Khaled at the Detroit Concert of Colors. The lineup that year was mind-blowing. It was Tanara Wynn, the Neville Brothers, the Del McCrory Band, Maxie Priest, and the dirt bombs. And I remember Ish saying at the time that he'd founded the festival because celebrating diverse heritages through music is a great way to bring people together. And we both come from an era where art and politics were inextricably interwoven. And I've never met anyone who walks the line truer than Ismael Ahmed. He attended the University of Michigan in Dearborn, not because it was the place that would best advance his career, but because he carefully determined that it was the place where he could cause the most trouble. and he's best remembered for subsidizing buses to anti-war rallies with commandeered student government funds. He's the only person I know who voluntarily worked 12 years on an auto assembly line, not to support himself, but because he felt the best way to organize the workers was from the inside. And inspired by the Dodge revolutionary movement, he was arrested when he led a walkout by the Arab Workers Caucus at the Dodge Trucks plant. Over the years, he's promoted all kinds of shows: Rock Against Racism, Rock for Refugees. He founded the Arab Community Center for Economic and Social Services, which is Access. It's a group dedicated to food, arts, and advocacy. He took it from a little storefront to an organization that feeds people in 26 different cities now. He headed the Michigan Department of Human Services and brought in reforms that really improved people's lives, implementing progressive food stamp programs and foster care and technology initiatives. And of course, for the last 29 years, against great odds, he's organized and promoted Detroit's diversity music festival, the Concert of Colors. It's become the Midwest's largest world music festival. It's a wonderful event. I know you all know that. He's a great American hero, and it gives me great pleasure to present this Pioneer Award to my dear friend, Ismael Ahmed.
Thank you, Don. You got me in tears.
Oh, man.
Here's the award, everybody.
It actually spins though, you guys, check this out. This was, can I hold this for just a minute? So it actually spins just like the world spins, right? It's so perfect. It's such a well-designed honor and award.
So let me first thank my brother and friend, Don Was. Don and I, for the last 14 years, have worked together on the Concert of Colors. He organizes and oversees and plays in a thing called the Don Was Review that helps us to promote Detroit artists. We'll get 15 bands and they will play a tribute to the rebellion of 1967 or the music of Motown. And we're actually talking about now doing a tribute to George Clinton. Don has become my brother and his wife Gemma, my sister. And I thank you so much, Don, for everything you've done for the Concert of Colors and for this community. Those of you that don't know Don, he's the head of Blue Note Records. He is the biggest producer in the world. And he stands for something and he fights for things. And I love him very much, but not as much as I love my wife, Margaret. You know, one of the things that you learn, and I learned early, I learned 3 lessons. The first of them is you don't do anything by yourself. You know, you get the credit for what you do, all of us do, but it takes hundreds of people, thousands of people to change this world and to make it better. And it takes hundreds of us to put on the Concert of Colors or to do a radio show like The Silent Earth that I do on Detroit Public Radio. It took tens of thousands of people to start the Arab Community Center for Economics and Social Services. It took thousands of people to walk off the line when we challenge racism in the auto plants. And all of you know that the truth is that all of the festivals we do, the bookings we do, the performances we do, doesn't just come out of our heads, but it comes from us working together. And, you know, when I was a young man, I lived in a neighborhood where 42 languages were spoken in 2.5 miles square. It was an immigrant community that fed the Rouge plant, a plant that had 90,000 workers. It was the biggest industrial complex in the world. And I used to sit on the porches of those older workers. They had nothing except their little houses or their pensions. And they would tell me about organizing the steel plants. And they would tell me about organizing the United Auto Workers. And the thing that I learned from them is that every meaningful reform that's ever taken place in this country, whether it's Social Security or unemployment or Medicaid, and I can go down the list, happened because it came from the bottom up. Thousands of people coming together to make change. Yes, we have leaders, and leaders are important, but without the people, the regular folks, we're nothing. And so I honor them, the thousands of working people that feed us and make things happen. And in our industry, the people who do the sound and the tech and take the tickets and set up the road trips and so many other things. The other thing that I learned was that there is a place for all kinds of music in the world. My father moved to Detroit from Brooklyn, New York. Yeah, I'm from Brooklyn. And I once tried to cross the Canadian border, and they said to me, "Where do you come from?" And I told them, "Brooklyn." They meant, "What country do I come from?" And so we moved to Detroit when I was 5 years old to open up an Egyptian record store because he loved Egyptian music. And we lived across the street from a confectionery that you could cross the street and hear rock and roll. And there were kids with pointed toe shoes and ducktails and bobby socks dancing across the street. And out of my dad's store, it wafted Kulthum and Arabic music. And you could go to the middle of the street and hear it both coming together. And I would stand there sometimes and say, "I want to be that." And I meant both things at the same time. And to be able to grow up and be with a community of people who have fought for a place for the whole world to be our environment, to be our world. And more importantly, for the whole world to be in it with us is amazing. And so I really want to thank Bill and Shanta and Isabel because I know they made the decision on this award. But more importantly, for all the work that they have done in the field. You truly are the leaders of this work. And I want to thank my wife again, Margaret. Come over here. So Margaret's a musician. She's a percussionist and singer, and she's been in umpteen bands and helps out with the Concert of Colors. But more importantly, together, we have 5 children and 8 grandchildren. 2 of them living in Austin, which we would very much like to see, except for COVID. So we'll wait, but we'll see them soon. The last thing that I want to talk about, the last lesson for all of us, is that we're interdependent. We depend on each other for everything. And I've heard the word community used over and over again here. And that interdependence not only means that we rely on each other and support each other, but together it creates a fabric that can be unbreakable. And this is a pivotal period in the life of America and our world. It's being decided today what forces will win. We all saw what happened at the White House, but it's only a small projection of something much more sinister out there. And it's not a single man that's responsible for racism and hatred and classism, but it's a whole system of that. And as I watch globalFEST today, you can see that there is a transformation going on, not only in globalFEST, all of us have done work in the field around these questions, but you can see it starting to culminate in something that will truly make a difference. And so I really, really look forward to working with you, my brothers and sisters, to use the most powerful weapon on earth, culture, to change this world. And finally, I want to leave you with this. Let's work together for peace, love, and most of all, justice. We're all brothers and sisters. Take care of each other.
That was incredible. Incredible. Thank you all so much. What an incredible experience. I think we're, I was talking to Morley yesterday in preparation for the keynote tomorrow. And I think taking what Ish was saying, this idea that some of these ideas of liberation theology, of how we come together as a community, have been again, things that we think are on the fringes, but we can so easily center these ideas together and bring what we love, what we know to be true about our artists and our community into more people's lives. So thank you to all of our awardees for all that you have done to make our lives so rich. And thank you to everyone that tuned in today for all the work that you do, because we do know that this is such a beautiful, beautiful community. But what an incredible inspiration to all of us. I'm going to pass it back to my dear colleague, Viviana, to close us out for the day.
Oh my God, I don't even think I can speak in public. Ismael, you made me cry too much. Ooh, let's take that deep breath again. So, of course, thank you to everyone for joining today. Thank you to globalFEST, Shanta, Isabel, and Bill for being such a trooper in this moment. Thank you to globalFEST donors and sponsors, including the National Endowment for the Arts, for their continued support of the Wavelengths Conference. If you're interested in supporting globalFEST as an individual donor or as an organization, you can reach out to them directly at info@globalfest.org. We also want to give a big thanks to the entire team of the Office, Performing Arts and Film, for putting these 2 days together. And as Shanta said, tomorrow Morley will kick off with opening remarks and another incredible, inspiring panel discussions organized for everybody. So please do join us tomorrow. And thank you again for joining us and for being here and present, and for all the amazing inspiration and ideas and motivation to keep working. So much love to everyone. Thanks for being here. See you tomorrow.